Congresswoman Maxine Waters of California. Congresswoman, first of all, I want to ask you how your district is doing, whether or not any part of your district is at risk from these fires, and how are folks doing there?
Thank you very much for your concern about California. Obviously, the President of the United States does not empathize or sympathize with what is going on in California based on some comments he has made. But my district is fine. But the fires are absolutely devastating. The fire has jumped the freeway. In addition to areas like Calabasas and Malibu, we have people who have been evacuated. Thousands have been evacuated. And we certainly hope that the firemen can get it under control sometime soon.
Yeah, and we know that 23 people so far have lost their lives, and we, send out incredible condolences to those families. What do you make of the fact that the president blamed it, essentially blamed California and blamed the management of the forest in your state for these fires?
Well, you know, the President of the United States attempts to talk about things that he has no knowledge of. He doesn't even understand what goes into fighting a fire. And for him to come out talking about poor management is just another indication that the president is not willing to learn anything. He does not really care about others, and he's on the attack all of the time. If you listen to the president, he starts out attacking, and so we wish he would keep his mouth shut. California does not need him to be talking about things that he does not know. We need him to bring people together, to be concerned about the safety of our families. And so, again, it's just another Trump who is, again, reaching in, talking about things that he doesn't understand, and we need him to just stay away from us.
Yeah, we assume he does understand his past financial dealings, and he attacks you a lot. And one could surmise that that's perhaps because he's afraid of you and the fact that you aren't afraid of him, and the fact that you will now wield the gavel on the House Financial Services Committee in all likelihood. You've talked about things like impeachment, but you've also more recently talked about things like Deutsche Bank and looking into money laundering, and really that could get you very close to the Donald Trump finances. Do you intend, I've asked you this before, but what are your intentions as the chairwoman of that committee regarding Donald Trump's finances and his tax returns? Well,
first of all, so let me just say that it is a very important committee of the House of Representatives with a lot of big issues. We're working on Dodd-Frank reform issues, trying to make sure that we don't go into another recession. We almost went into a depression in 2008. So first of all, we've got to be concerned about the big financial institutions of America. We also have HUD in that committee. I'm concerned about fair housing and Ben Carson, who has no experience and no background, that's trying to undermine basically the most vulnerable people in our society. So I've got to deal with fair housing. We are about to, reach the point in where we need to just make sure that the flood control apparatus that we have, the National Flood Insurance legislation, is reauthorized. And so we've got to do that. I'm working on all of these issues. The Deutsche Bank is but one of them. We are not starting out with Deutsche Bank and trying to find out its relationship to the president and his family. I started working on Deutsche Bank some time ago when I understood that it is one of the biggest money laundering banks in the world, and also that they're the only bank that will lend money to the president and his family. And so we sent letters to Deutsche Bank that have not been answered. We sent letters to the treasurer that have not been answered. And so it's just a continuation of the work that we were already doing, trying to understand the relationship of Deutsche Bank to the president. But it's one of the big issues in the Financial Services Committee that we will be working on. We're not simply focused on the president. A lot of people think I will have the opportunity to subpoena his tax returns, rather. That comes out of Ways and Means. We are responsible for looking at sanctions, the treasurer, and his responsibility in implementing those sanctions, and also, again, looking at money laundering. And we'll do some of that along with the other big issues that we're dealing with in the Financial Services Committee.
Okay, so you're clarifying that it's Ways and Means that would really be taking the lead on the tax returns.
That's right.
Okay, let's talk about some of your colleagues' characterizations, because it isn't just Donald Trump. This is Jeb Hensarling, a congressman out of Texas, on the day after Election Day on CNBC, talking about you.
There's a tale of two Maxines, and you've kind of described both. On the one hand, she is capable of being a serious legislator, but we also know that, speaking of a leader, she has led the charge for impeaching President Trump. She was the one who makes incendiary comments about harassing the president's cabinet and his staff in public places. Will the House Financial Services Committee continue to be a beehive of legislative activity, or will the committee be basically turned into a Spanish Inquisition or the Star Chamber, to harass the administration, to intimidate the administration?
What do you make of those comments?
Oh, I don't make anything of them. That's the opposition, talking about what would happen if this strong black woman, Maxine Waters, is the chair of the Financial Services Committee. They've never seen anybody like me before. There's never been a woman in the history of this country that's been the chairperson of the Financial Services Committee, and certainly never a black woman. And so they send out these dog whistles to their constituents to get them fired up about the possibility of what Maxine Waters might do. I have been on that committee for quite some time now. I worked on the conference committee that put together the reform, the Dodd-Frank reforms after the recession that we had. Obviously, I have the experience. I know what I'm doing. I've led my caucus on all financial services issues, and so I will continue to do my work in a very responsible way.
All right. Well, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, we always appreciate your willingness to come on the show. It's great to see you. Thank you very much. And please give our best to all the firefighters in your state that are doing such heroic work today.
Thank you so very much. I will do that.
Thank you very much. And next up, the latest on 1J.